right. All right, so I am Jay Parker, and this is GaryCon, and the Subterraliens promo premiere. Woohoo! So I'm going to hand this over to Flint Dilly real quick so he can explain what exactly is Subterraliens, and then we will get started.
Well, okay, yeah. So, I mean, it says it kind of on the thing, and I even did a Medium piece on this. Subterraliens has been this project has been dogging me around and sitting in my mind since the mid '90s. And yeah, you know, it's a center of the earth kind of a story. I've redeveloped in a bunch of different ways, and Jay, much to his credit or much to his blame, has done scenarios that interpreted two of the different ways. The first one, which is deeper, isn't better, right? That's the first one we're doing now. Is the kind of most you know, future armory version of it, and it involves a squad of Japanese ex-special forces where if you look at the setup page on this, we're set in a world that's probably, you know, 10 years from now, you know, where most things are being done in corporate. No, it could be today, and we just don't know about what's happening. And we're discovering that things are coming out of the earth that have been waiting there for a long time. And, you know, I was saying in the Medium piece, this came from when I was a kid, and the 17-year locust showed up in Illinois. And, you know, it just amazed me. These things were sitting under the ground all that time and just came out and terrorized the world, except these 17-year locusts are, you know, like 20 feet long and dangerous. And so our guys are going in there. They're going in there to rescue a team that's been doing research. This is a world where our journey to the center of the earth really happened in the 19th century. And so you'll find Arnie Sackness stuff down there. You know, it's a hollow earth story. And so you're going to find, you know, a lot of the tropes of hollow earth, but with a very modern spin to it. Did I explain that well? And Jay just brilliantly adapted multiple script drafts, television Bibles, game notes, all this stuff to an amazingly cogent property.
What's happening when someone sends you a pitch for a TV show, and there's photographs of all these different actors they want to play in the parts, and it's like, okay, and then you're looking at all the different variables and trying to build it. So it's been a fun project. So
yeah. Of course, it was actors from the '90s. You know, now we'd be doing the geriatric version of this movie, but you know. The time they were really not new actors. All right, I will shut up. I'll turn off my camera and take it away. I'll just come in and do color or NPCs or anything you want me to do. All right.
All right. So first we'll let everyone pick characters. So did anyone have characters? Because I sent the PDF out a couple days ago, the characters that you're really interested in that you'd like to play. We'll start with that.
I quite like Hatanto or Hatan. Hatano?
Hatano, yep, you can.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if I got that name right. I didn't put it to Google Translate to pronounce it out for me before I typed it, but.
I know the feeling of that reading stuff. Yeah, Hatano for me. There we go.
All right. Let's see. Ryan.
Yeah. I'll take Crocker, amusing name.
Okay. Patrick.
I need a second choice come back to me because I was going to go Crocker.
Taylor.
I will take Kurado.
Yep. Kuroda.
Kuroda. Yep.
My sister-in-law watches it. She's Japanese. She's gonna kick my butt if I get these names wrong. But
You like her?
I love my sister-in-law. She's a sweet lady, and man, she can prep a beautiful spread of food. My brother is extremely lucky. All right, Patrick.
I'll go with Arena.
You and Benny are going to be playing the twins.
That's by the sound of it. I'll take Arena. I'll take Arena.
Arena, okay. So Benny will play Rena, and then Brad, you all the stats I think are the same except for Crocker's. So any one of the Arena, Hatano, Kuroda, or Arena, just grab one of their sheets, and then the Lancer armors are all the same. So.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, the idea was to make it as easy to jump into as possible because you got a whole new franchise, you got whole new kinds of characters. So
Yeah, because the original one, as I was telling the guys before we got started, we had the characters from the TV show, and unfortunately, to get them from point A to point B required a lot of kind of storytelling to get there, and then you drop them in. With this team, they're literally based right above where all the action's happening. So, all right, so
Yep.
we'll get started. So. You want me to jump right into the action, Flint, and then flash back, or do you want me to?
yeah, jump into the action. They're midair, screaming, diving down there, and then flash back and explain stuff.
All right,
You
guys are free falling. Yeah, giant hole in the Kuwaiti desert, and you're free falling down, wearing Lancer armor, state of the art suits that mix subterranean technology with surface technology. Mostly the materials of the armors are from subterranean tech, while in the weapons are even more subterranean tech. You're only armed.
The poster for the game is a pretty good representation of the opening scene. This is what you're the guys diving down right here.
Yeah, so everything's zooming by level after level, and then as you start, you're blowing through. These creatures come out of the walls. The walls start to move on the sides of the shaft. The little eyes peek out, and then they fly out, and they're these winged serpents with long, slender snake bodies, little funny, scratchy arms, and long, big, leathery wings, and they swarm towards you. So, does everyone have a D10 on them?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, so everybody roll 1d10, and in the chat, just post what you roll. That way I can see who's doing what.
Chat.
That if you click on more and click on chat, it'll open up a chat room.
Yeah. Not to rename myself, but I'll do this first.
All right, and that is almost everybody. Oh, it's 4. Taylor, Brian, Patrick, Matt. Oh, Brad. Oh, Brad roll 7. Okay. Oh, there's all 5. All right, let's do this. All right, so Taylor, you're going to get to go first. You are flying down. Now, the armors you're wearing, they come with like it's like a wingsuit type thing where the wingsuit pieces can pop out. You have not popped those out though. You are completely free falling just without the gliding capability.
Okay.
So you can plow through at full speed and use like attack as you go through, or you can pop and slow yourself down.
I'm going to plow through at full speed and do the attack. I assume with my anti-blade.
Yep. So the attack with the anti-blade will be let's see here. That'll be your rumble plus your special forces number plus the D10 percentile.
So actually D100 or just a D10?
A D10 multiplied times 10. So
multiplied times 10. Got it. 60 plus 80, 140.
140. All right. Click on the right thing. All right, you hit. How much damage does the anti-blade do?
30 rank lethal damage.
Okay, and ignores all armor because it is the anti-blade. So the design of these weapons are the anti-blade works wonders against subterranean creatures. And I'll explain that when we do the flashback to the surface. So you hit, and 1 through 5, you nail a wing, and you basically take the wing off the creature, and it screeches and starts falling to the depths below. The shaft is 22 miles deep. So that
Wow.
creature is going to splat when it hits the bottom. All right. Let's see. Brian, you're next.
So we got a little time before we gotta worry about going splat.
Yeah, you're probably only about 5 miles down. So
So you said it's your rumble.
plus your special forces and your special focus.
Is that military weapon use?
Oh, you're playing Crocker.
Yeah.
For Crocker, it's gonna be Rumble. Yeah. Actually, use karate. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Use military weapon use. That's fine.
Okay, so how do you roll rumble again?
You just add your Rumble plus your military weapon use number, and then roll 1d10 as like a percentile.
So it's 38, 58.
58. Okay. All right, Crocker's having a good day today. Crocker, you impact. All right, you take a wing off as you barrel through, because you're Crocker Vanderlip. You don't take crap from any creature. So
That's right.
You creature screeches and hisses as it spirals down into the abyss below. All right, Brad, you're next.
Okay, Lee, the additional Lancer, is going to attack one of the other flying creatures. I've got a sword, a melee weapon of some kind. Is that okay? So I'll aim to clip a wing because that seems like that strategy is working. So you said it's Rumble plus Special Forces.
Yep.
And then roll a d10. Okay. So that'll be base 60 and 67.
All right, you hit. Wait, 67.
Rumble's 20, Special Forces is plus 40.
Yep.
Mhm.
What'd you roll in the D10?
Oh, I rolled a 7. Sorry.
So that'd be a 70.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yes.
That's much. We'll say that's much better. It's like, oh wait. See, I don't do super math as
Gotcha.
we learned earlier on in my time with Flint. So everything multiple tens. So
Okay.
yeah, you nail it. You take out a wing as you fly right through. So pretty much you got like this flock of these things.
Okay.
And you guys just like blown through them and whacking with swords as you go through. Patrick and Matt both rolled the same number, so I'll let you guys figure out who wants to go first.
Oh, I don't mind. Go on.
You want me to go?
We don't seem to be short of targets, so I don't think it matters.
All right. I'm just gonna because I have skydiving. I'm just gonna make myself like a bullet and just go right through these things. I'm not gonna try to attack them. I'm just gonna like go through them. If I happen to hit one, I'm just gonna go through it. I'm just gonna make myself straight and go and just accelerate right through these things.
All right, so that'll be your agility plus your skydiving.
So that would be 60, and then I roll a d10.
Yep.
And that counts as what? Just a single or 10?
Tens.
Tens. So that is 60, and I rolled a 6. That's 120.
All right, you hit very hard. And let's see here. All right, you hit it, and yeah, you literally like rip it into, like you tear it apart as you blow through. And so now there's like this mist of like, lizard blood like spraying up through, and that, which means of course Hitano is the last one to blow. Actually, Benavides's character Reno will be the last one to blow through. But Hitano, your armor is going to be slightly colorful when you get through that cloud there. Your action, Hitano.
Given that my colleague has just been good enough to open up a gap, and I also have skydiving, I'm basically going to fall in behind him and try and get through with minimal resistance.
All right. I'm actually not even going to make you roll for it because he was trying to hit a target. You're just trying to maneuver. So
Yep.
you're good enough, dude. He clears that path through so that you got them. They're free. These lizard things are falling and stuff. The ones that have been hit, and you like blow through that misty cloud. And luckily for your optics, a lot of them are sensors, so you can sort of still see what's going on. But the standard visuals are kind of, yeah, might want to wipe off when you get to the bottom.
Yeah.
And then Rena is
Little windscreen wipe.
We've added a lot to these armors since we play tested, so windshield wipers might be the next one. So you guys blow through this cloud of creatures. We are going to flash back as you've now blown through them. They cannot keep up with you because you guys are moving so fast.
Yeah.
All right. So this all starts a half an hour ago. Crocker Vanderlip. So actually, Crocker, why don't you read the paragraph on your character bio sheet so the other players can know who Crocker Vanderlip is?
Billionaire oil tycoon that lost the love of his life in a tragic accident. She became a tool of the parasitic Subterralian High Lord Mojo. Driven by revenge, Crocker has sworn to eradicate the Subterraliens. He is the founder, financier, and leader of the Light Brigade. Crocker is also an engineering genius. Do you want how he sees his co-workers or teammates?
No, you don't need to read that.
Okay.
I actually meant to delete that, but apparently I didn't. Because the original, the teammates were in there, so it was going to be pitting everyone against each other. But because you're Japanese Special Forces, which is actually the better aspect of this, pretty much your teammates don't know that this team exists, and you prefer to keep it that way. Because you don't basically your team is so not they're a great team, but you don't trust them enough with the type of technology that you're all using right now. So Crocker Vanderlip has got news that a good friend of his father's and one of the most valuable archaeologists working for the Light Brigade has gone dark in the shaft. The shaft is this big hole in the Kuwaiti desert that they have built a facility above and run an elevator or like a lift system. They've been basically doing archaeology dig work, trying to like see what's down there. The mission is personal and there is no room for mistakes. You have left your team back in North Dakota and will instead make use of the Lancers, your super covert armored strike team. They are far more reliable and know how to follow orders. All right, the Lancers, the Japanese crew, on board the Sky Carrier, which is this air carrier that's hovering above the shaft, that's actually shrouded in the cloud 24/7. Above on the loudspeaker, incoming VIP, Lancer Team 1 to briefing room. So Crocker, you are arriving on a helicopter. The Lancer guys, you all, you're doing your daily PMS stuff, preventative maintenance schedule for those of you who didn't serve in the military, and you get called, so you head to the briefing room. Now they say VIP, so VIP, you guys don't have VIPs coming to the Sky Carrier. And most of you don't even know who's paying the bills. You just follow the orders of your former military commander. All right. So you get to the briefing room. And Abe Kiaki, the commander of this operation, stands up. He's this older Japanese fellow. He tends to dress much more casual than everybody else who he requires to wear a uniform. They have a problem. Professor Garrison's team has gone dark. The recovery team has gone dark as well. The professor was working through a cross shaft into the grand hallway. All attempts to reestablish communications have failed. The secondary team is at the entrance. Kiaka calls up an image on the monitor. It's a live feed from the secondary team. There are two large hoplite-looking marble statues standing in front of a giant hole in a cavern wall. Any questions, Crocker? questions before we continue with this briefing?
How many people are we there to save?
9 people, or they're not sure because they sent the secondary team in, so they don't know how many are alive and how many are dead. So
Okay.
there were at least 5 people in the archaeology team, and then 5 or 6 people on the rescue team.
Okay. If we're forced to prioritize, who is the most important asset to bring back?
Professor Garrison is the only asset that matters.
Right. Okay. That's
a little
fine.
cold.
I'm perfectly happy with that. That's fine. Everybody else is expendable.
Well, so
Yep.
one of you has a character bio that's pretty. Actually, you know what? Hatano, why don't you read your bio?
That's why I chose him. Former Special Forces operator known for a callous approach to warfare. He follows orders and won't deviate from mission parameters. Forced out of the military after there is a question to whether or not Hatano has murdered teenagers in a village that was housing ISIS terrorists. When questioned at his tribunal, he simply replied, "I killed the enemy." Hatano was scooped away by Abe Kiyaka, the man that gave him the order to deal with any possible future threats. Hatano is a hardened soldier. Subterraliens don't faze him in the slightest.
I'm not one to
Just a
write
load.
team character. Arena, go ahead and read your bio.
Do you want me to read it in Arena's voice? No, I'm sorry. Former Special Forces.
The entire scenario.
I could do a really high pitched voice if that would help for the to sell it, but Mom, former Special Forces group operator and sister of Rena. The family has ties back to the Tomi Gozen. The sisters were trained at a young age to be warriors. Both joined Japanese ground self-defense force and served under Abe Kayaki. These fierce soldiers carried out missions the most SFG members would stay clear of. The sisters were also feared. The sisters were so feared that when Mr. Kayaki retired, they were forced out of the military. It didn't matter. Abe had a new mission for them, and that he would take them into the depths of the earth. Arena and Rena are masterfully trained in everything from lethal close combat techniques to advanced recon. As for Subterraliens, just another animal.
All right, and Kuroda, read yours.
Lancer team leader and former Special Force group operator, well respected in the ground self-defense force and amongst several UN peacekeeping units. Kuroda is always cool as ice and has a bit of a wit about him. There was a saying that if there was ever a reality show made starring SFG operators, Kuroda would be the star. The team leader is a man of honor too. He is a true Japanese patriot. Kuroda considers Abe Kayaki like a second father. When it comes to Subterraliens, Kuroda refers to them as the American freak show.
All right. Patrick, don't make a goofy face. You know, Americans, they like their big bugs and weird creatures.
Well,
Oh,
All you have to do is turn on Jersey Shore and you're good to go. All right. And Benny, why don't you read Rena's bio? Come on, Benny.
you're on mute.
They can't even hear me. I should just call him. They do pay attention. All right, we'll continue on. He can read later.
Nope, I got it. I just had to find Rena. Former Special Forces group operator and sister of Arena. Their family has ties back to Tomei Gozen. The sisters were trained at a young age to be warriors.
Hey, Benny, just read the last section because the other sister's bio is exactly the same.
Arena and Rena, which one?
Rena.
As for Subterraliens, just another animal?
Okay, I guess it was exactly the same. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good. Okay, so now we know who the sisters are. Yeah, these were last second characters versus Crocker's page, which initially was like 4 or 5 pages long in the bio department. So, and as Flint requested, he's like, Jay, you gotta trim those down. I'm like, not a problem. 1 paragraph, right? He's like, because that's what he asked for, that's what he gets.
Yeah, yeah, we have the 20-page version, but I didn't think anyone wanted to read it.
Yeah, as Flint will tell you and Benny will tell you, when I start writing character bios, they turn into like mini novels.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right,
Yeah.
so Lancer Team 1 will meet Crocker on deck. So basically, Crocker, your helicopter lands, you head straight for the armory, and you suit up. You actually have a Lancer suit, the very first one that you designed and that you built, that the other suits are built off of, that's suited just for you. So the minute you get off your helicopter, you don't even say hi to anybody. You walk past everybody and head straight for the armory and you suit up. All right. So the team has been trained for free fall missions into the shaft using their built-in gliders. So they're basically like wingsuits. It's the fastest and quickest way down. The only weapons you're authorized are the anti-blades. You can't have the rifles because the ammo for the anti-rifle is hard to come by because it uses the same material as the armor is made out of. Now, they're called anti-weapons because the radiation that this material emits works kind of like the reverse polarity of the radiation that holds subterraneans together, where they were mutated from or where they're grown from. So it's kind of like you walked up to a human being and you're the like antimatter and you touch them. That's what the anti-blades do. It's this weird material that Crocker was introduced to by somebody. Crocker doesn't want the Mercs or anyone else to see the Lancer tech more than necessary. Why am I doing this? Okay. It's a 15-mile drop straight down through the shaft. So the level you're going to is actually at the 15-mile marker. So the opening of the shaft is covered by large bay doors. They're open about 5 yards wide to keep combustible gases from building up in the lower levels. On any other day, the team would take the elevator to the level site, but because there's a rush, it's going to be a free fall. So basically, everyone suits up in their armors. You walk to the edge of the sky carrier, you look down, and you see it's a dead drop right to these bay doors that are partly open. And all that you need to do is step off.
I take initiative. I step off.
Yeah, Rena doesn't even wait for orders, Kuroda. She just like, boom, off the thing she goes. Which is funny considering she's the last one to fall in the scenario we just did, but okay.
All right, everybody, let's do it. Nice step off.
All right, so everyone give me a skydiving check real quick to make sure that no one lands on the bay doors.
So that's what? Agility plus skydiving plus a D10?
Yep.
$60, $90, $150.
All right. Kuroda makes it. Crocker?
I got 110.
Sorry, I had 98. I was muted.
98, okay. Brad?
160. Got a natural 10.
Wow.
Matt?
100.
And Patrick?
140.
All right. So everyone except for Crocker shoots through the bay doors. Luckily for Crocker, I mean, the armor can take it. So pretty much you're watching these special forces guys go, and you kind of get blown, kind of sidetracked by it. You didn't quite jump off the right spot. So as you try to maneuver, you go slamming onto the bay door, and pretty much it's like you try to Iron Man land it, so at least you look cool, which you do because the suit's designed to take that type of impact. But when you hit it, it makes this gong sound that echoes across the outpost.
Well, so much for stealth.
So, but
We're only sneaking up from 15 miles away.
So Crocker, you're Neil. You're looking completely epically badass, but like everyone else is zooming by you. Would you like to walk over to the bay door and make that jump again?
Not as if I'd roll any better.
Well, you don't have to roll again. I just need you to roll to see if you can hit the bay door. So,
Pardon?
yeah, I just need you to roll to see if you hit the bay door. You don't need to roll. You don't need to roll to jump through the opening of the hole at that point.
So what am I rolling now?
Nothing.
Oh,
All you gotta do is tell me if you want to jump through or not.
yeah.
All right, Crocker looks badass, gets up, he's like, yeah, and just walks over and jumps down, which now you're even more agitated because you already don't like Subterraliens as it is. So it's one of those things that it's like Lopan from Big Trouble in Little China. He's like, this pisses me off to no end. Because now you're really not amused by what's happening here.
Okay.
All right. So you guys are free.
Who's ranking here, by the way?
Huh?
Who's ranking? Who actually calls the shots in the team if it comes to it?
Crocker calls the shots when he's around. Kuroda calls the shots otherwise.
Okay.
So as you guys are free falling through, you see where the lift is. Now the lift moves slow. I mean, it goes for 15 miles down, but it moves slow, so it's going level to level. So as you're flying down, you see there's like different holes in the sides, and they're all off to one side. So you see different cave openings. And each cave opening, you kind of see like different types of architecture and structures that culture. So there's no like one set culture. The deeper you go, the more ancient it looks. So you see like a mix of like Asian architecture. You're seeing Greek architecture. You see mixes of different types of architecture Egyptian architecture as you go down. It's not like blatant. You see like statues and stuff that are partly uncovered that the archaeologists have found. You see base camps that are set up where there's where at each of the deck levels. So pretty much you can go down and go in the base camps and whatnot. So you are zooming through. You zoom through the creatures. They have been dubbed hissers by the archaeology teams. So as you're flying through, you see mercenary snipers perched on the different deck levels, kind of watching the skies and stuff. So to look for hissers, these winged serpent creatures. And as you blow through those, which you've already done. All righty. As you approach the level, you see a landing platform in the opening to the cross shaft. So pretty much you're flying straight at it, and you're going to need to open your suit so you can either buff your landing, so you can just land on your feet and walk in, or you're going fast enough where you have enough momentum where you can actually use the wingsuits and 90-degree fly through the tunnel, which is quite the evasive maneuver, but you have the suits and the training to do it. So
I'm all for the cinematic. I say we just, just glide right in. I mean, we might as well. I mean, we're special forces.
I agree.
Let's act like special forces. Let's take that 90-degree turn and zoom in there at about 150 miles an hour.
If there's something waiting for us, it'd be a way to catch it off guard.
Yeah.
The laws of physics dictate that literally your suit should rip apart. Luckily, your suits aren't 100% human made, or they're human made, but they have other technology added to them. So we allow for these great cinematic activities. Everyone make a skydiving check. Please have above 100 in your result.
That's agility.
Yep.
Exactly 100.
And so the agility is 40 because we're using the suits, correct?
Yeah, you're using agility from the suits, which is 40.
Oh, then it's 110.
150.
100.
New guy on the team got a 70.
120.
Lee got a 70.
140.
Crocker, how'd you do?
110.
Oh, good. So this is great, right? So Lee is kind of like new to the team, so he hasn't done one of these dives before. So everyone who made it besides Crocker, this is stuff that you've done before, just test runs. So you literally open your suits up and you blow through and you almost knock stuff over that's stacked like, on the deck. So that basically each level has like a landing platform. This one's kind of haphazard because they haven't quite established like an outpost here yet. So you blow through and it makes almost like a banging sound when you pop open your wingsuits and you fly down the tunnel. Crocker, you're like, there's no way you're gonna look stupid on this one. You pop yours open and you blow past your special Lancer unit that you're with, and you look like a freaking pro now. You're like, yeah. Lee, on the other hand, he goes open the suit and all of a sudden he goes bang, 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 and you hear like smashing and crashing of rocks and stuff, and Lee, you come to a screeching halt, probably about 30 yards into the tunnel, and you're standing there, and they're like, you see like dead arachidon bodies, which are these giant bug things the size of cows. They're like kind of body parts of those things everywhere. You see there's a train tracks that go in for like a little tram car. Yeah, and you've now going to have to. You can either walk back. You can see that there's a tram car down at the deck, or you can try to walk in the distance to get there, which will take you a little bit of time.
Lee is beside himself at having embarrassed himself in front of the team and let down Kuroda, who had handpicked him to join the team. So he is going to double time it down. He doesn't even think about the cart. He just sets out to catch up with the team as fast as he can.
All right, so you are running down the tunnel. All right, so Deep One, which is this giant drill that they use to kind of dig cross sections. So the grand hallway, just the basic understanding that the Lancers have, this bigger tunnel that goes down into these areas where there are even bigger threats. Crocker, the grand tunnel that you are familiar with is something that Sister, if I'm going to get her name, Flint, what's her name?
Nineveh. Like
Sister
the
Nineveh.
lost city.
She used to be the super expert on Subterraliens and Subterranean culture, and she's told you about the shaft that goes straight to the bottom where all the stuff comes up from. It's like a one shop ticket straight to the bottom, and they've been digging across trying to find a cross shaft to get through so they can have access to it. So Deep One is like the vehicle you design that can drill across, but you take your time because there's so many archaeological finds that you don't want to just destroy stuff. You at least understand that value, and plus you got to fund your operation. So, even though you have your petroleum company, it's still good to have another source of income. So you sell all these artifacts in the black market. Okay, so you're flying along. You see bodies of arachidons and hissers. Some look like they were killed by gunfire, and others look like they were run over by the tram. The cave opens up wide. There's a mobile lab and a base camp at the end of the tracks. Several armed men are standing around watching further into the chamber, where two large Greek hoplite marble statues stand guard. The passageway behind them looks like it has been carved out. There's a faint shadow of pillars just inside the darkness. So, Crocker, as you get to that spot, you see basically it opens up. You see like a base camp. It's almost like a cargo container that's got like satellite dishes on it, and there's generators and stuff. And you see these soldiers standing around, and you see where the walls collapse down. There's two marble hoplite statues that just seem to be standing there. And then behind them, there's a gaping hole that goes into the darkness.
Cool. I think that's where we need to go.
Are you gonna like fly through?
Sure.
Hey.
I guess we follow.
This one, so. All right, Crocker, give me a skydiving roll, agility plus skydiving, and let's see if you pull it off.
Oh, geez. This 100 exactly again.
So it looks like, Brian, I'll have to get your mailing address and I will send you some good dice.
I've been trying different dice.
We
These
had
damn game hole dice.
we had to send Flint dice at one point because his
Yeah, I was having
so
some
bad.
sorry experiences. I was trying to use this app. Don't use apps.
Ugh. All right, so Crocker blows through, and those two statues come to life. They're about 15 feet tall, and they're just like they go to swing at him, and they miss, but they turn. So who's after Crocker? We know Lee's last, so Lee just
It's I don't know. I was the first to fall, but
yeah, Rena. Oh, everyone. Actually,
I'll go next. I'll go next because someone's got to keep up with the strap on this team. So I'll go next.
I'm after my sister.
give us a agility plus your skydiving roll.
Okay, I'm going to say that I might need after this roll. I might need those dice. That would be because I'm going to get whooped. Let's see, 40, 60, 70. That is a 70. Yes, I rolled a 1.
All right, so Arena's like blowing through, and all in like the statue turns, grabs you by the leg as you go to go by, and throws you.
Awesome.
So Lee, you're huffing it, right? And all of a sudden you see Arena go, whew, lands like probably like 10 yards in front of you, comes crashing down.
I'll
That was
skid to a
good.
halt. And are you okay? What's going on?
Oh no, yeah, I'm fine. That's totally meant to stick that landing. We're good. We're good. Don't worry about it. We're good. Oh,
Skeptical
All right.
look from Lee.
Who's the
Lee
next
taught
person
you well.
I
that's
am.
gonna do this? Go ahead, Rena.
Let's see. 130.
You make it through. Kuroda, you're the last one. Well, almost the last one.
Okay. I shall try and avoid them. So let's see if I can.
Oh, that's Satano. Okay, I totally forgot we had Satano too. Taylor, I swear to God, next time we do combat, you're going first.
Okay.
Okay, so 110, 150.
All right, you barely make it through. In Kuroda.
80. 90.
Kuroda, you're kind of what you see like Arena go flying past you, and you kind of chuckle, and you're thinking, yeah, that's kind of funny. And then all of a sudden, like literally, you get like baseball batted with this stone spear, which literally shatters when it hits you. All right, who's Charlie?
I'm pretty sure that's Charlie Wheaton. He's another friend of Flint's. So
Okay,
Yeah. Hey,
yeah.
Charlie.
He mute.
Hello, can you hear me?
Charlie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come on in. Come on in, Charlie.
So Kuroda,
Yeah.
it hits you with that marble spear. It shatters on impact, and you go flying. So Lee and Arena, you're running towards the where the base camp is, and all of a sudden you see Kuroda go flying over you, and he goes crashing down and lands behind you, probably about like 5 or 6 yards.
that's not good.
Stupid statue.
he's going to stop and turn around and go back and help his commanding officer there.
All right, so Lee runs back and helps you up.
Thank you, Lee. Let's get on in there.
All right, so Crocker and Hatano and Rena are the ones that made it through.
Yep.
Yep.
Mhm.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna.
It out up here, but that stuff's starting to come up, and as we start exploring, we start running into it as we go into the center of the earth, and conflicts happen. And of course, over time, all sorts of lost civilizations have sunk deep into the ground or been, kind of actively stolen, in quicksands, and so. Under the ground, if you remember those, you probably are too young for this, but if you remember those old anthill, ant farm pictures in your comic books, that's kind of what it is. There are passages and caverns and pockets
Right.
of life, and they're all different. And now we are encountering them, and of course it's being covered up because it's just deemed fake news, and and stories are being edited, and various corporate interests are out there searching for things, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, it's kind of that is a really bad map drawn by a guy, probably 30, 40 years ago. It's just his idea of what he had explored and found under there, and that's sort of our first. That is what we're going to get at the end of the episode. But that's think of the world that way. So it's just a bunch of exploration and building and encounters inside the Earth. All right.
All right.
Jay is now back. I will stop talking.
Yep.
Sorry about that. Okay. So, anyways, so you are now at a cross area here where we have the statues. Some of you are inside, some of you are not inside. So on the outside, you guys come running up and you see the statues are standing there, and they're talking. They're saying they're like, well, they're speaking in a foreign tongue, rather loudly, because one of them is pointing into the back, in behind them, and the other one's pointing at you guys.
The auto translators and the helmets don't pick up what they're talking about?
They do. It's Latin or something rough Latin. And they're saying something about, we can't let them go any further. And the other one's like, no, we can't let these ones in. He's like, let's deal with the ones out here first.
That would be us.
Are the statues mobile, or are they fixed?
Oh, they're moving.
They're moving.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and you've heard about types of subterraneans that can inhabit statues and bring them alive.
So where are these guards with the guns?
They're just standing there. Matter of fact, they're watching, and one of them comes up to you guys. He's like, hey guys, welcome to the Greek. Those two boys over there, they hadn't moved an inch until just now. And we were gonna try and breach, but Topside said wait for you guys. So yeah, we don't get paid to do that. So
well, Taylor, you're in charge. What do you want to do?
Yes, Condo, what shall we do? I say we go back.
Well, actually, it's only Lee, Corrado, and myself, right?
Yeah, you guys are the only ones outside.
Yeah.
Rocker, Rena, and whoever, and Hatano. Oh, yeah, Hatano are inside.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought Credo muted. That's right. Crocker, we got to go back for those guys. We need to go back for my sister.
Okay.
Surely they catch up.
Well, I suppose we'll stop and go back and see what's going on.
Guys, what do you want to do on the outside?
On the outside, I mean, Taylor's in charge, so I don't know what he's going to order him to do.
Taylor, what would you like him? What do you want to do with your team?
Sorry, I muted. I didn't realize it. We're gonna go in.
Okay.
All right. So you guys start heading for that hole, and those statues step in your way.
I guess we got to take down some statues.
To back off, flesh, little people.
How many soldiers are there?
There are 5.
With the rifles?
The rifles, one has a grenade launcher. They're kind of just sitting there like, yeah, no. We get paid to run security and to run rescue ops. That is something that we are not equipped for.
You got a grenade launcher. You're equipped for it. Anyway.
I may be a soldier, but I'm not stupid. You see those walls? Those caved in. And we didn't even do that. It's like, if you sneeze too loud, and then one of this big burly Russian dude is like, if you fart too loud, you cause a cave in. He's like, yeah, exactly what he said. Like, we don't do that. You guys are wearing some pretty cool hardware that we did not see. So good luck.
All right.
Don't
Well,
suppose we can
let's
borrow
take
their
these
rifles.
statues down. Actually, first I'm gonna say through the translator, we need to pass. Why won't you let us pass?
We will not let you pass, spawns of Abaddon.
Then we need to take these statues down, guys. So let's do it.
All right.
Lee
Taylor,
forms
you'll
up.
go first because I promised you next combat scenario you could go first. So what would you like to do?
I am going to attack the nearest statue with my anti-blade.
Perfect. All right, give us a. It's going to be a rumble plus your special force, plus your obviously.
So 60 plus 60, 140.
You hit, and when you hit, you literally like your blade hits the marble, like basically hits a leg, and it like just takes a chunk out of it with one hit. And the statue stumbles back and it's like, "Arr! What is this?"
I'll take
Right.
it.
Arena, go ahead.
Do I use special forces and kendo, since kendo is actually a Japanese sword form?
You can use kendo.
Okay. So, oh, come on. Another die, another one. 40, 60. So 70. I take a swing at the one that was wounded and I roll a 70. And that die's done for today.
You do hit, actually.
Okay.
All right, you hit it, you chop off the rest of the leg. So it stumbles down, and now it's down kind of like, it's got like a, chopped off at the shin, so it's not moving well. Who's the other person that was outside?
Lee. So Lee attacks the one that is not engaged yet on the other side. Oh, and he redeems himself. 120.
All right, you hit. You nail that one in the leg, and you take a chunk out of it, and it yells and kind of stumbles back a little bit. And that's everyone outside, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's 3 of you outside. All right, Taylor. The one that you attack goes to swing at you, and it definitely misses. And the other one, wow, they don't like you today, Taylor. The other one goes to swing at you. You can go ahead and roll a dodge if you want. Agility plus special forces.
All right. 90.
All right, you get out of the way. It pretty much takes its spear and tries to like hit you with it. You notice they're not trying to spear you; they're trying to like just swat you. So he squats down, and it hits the ground, and there's a big puff of like debris and stuff, and it's yelling at you. The guys inside the cave. Are you guys just gonna keep going in, or are you guys gonna act?
Silly question. Do we have radio comms between the inside and the outside groups?
You should, yes.
So we can actually sort of communicate and hear that they're trying to break their way through from the other side, and that they're having problems passing past these.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. When we've come past them, are we literally now stood behind them?
Oh no, you ended up like in the chamber behind them. I haven't described it yet, just because we were dealing with the combat with these statues first.
Okay, all right, but we're not stood directly behind them, literally ready to shoot them in the back. Then
No, you can still run up on them. You're within leaping distance to leap on them and attack.
What the hell? We're going to have to get the rest of the team in at some point. It's easy to attack them from the back while they're being shot at the front, I guess.
Go ahead, Athana. What do you want to do?
Yeah. So leap up as high as I can and try and jam my anti-sword into the back of its neck, stroke back, and try and sort of slide down it.
Okay, give us a roll.
Cinematic.
Nice.
Oh, that's a 10. That's going to be a lot.
Okay, don't even bother with the rest. You jump up and you drive the anti-blade into its neck, and as you start to pull down, the head just pops off, and the body goes limp, and the head like basically rolls to a stop in front of the mercs. and its eyes are looking around. And the mercs are like, yeah, that's something you don't see every day. All right, Crockett or Rena, what would you guys like to do?
I'm turning back and hitting the statue as well.
That's what I pay you for.
So same maneuver.
No, he didn't say that.
Yeah, but he can say that though, because that is what he's paying you for.
I ignore the comment because I just want to kill this thing that attacked my sister. So let's see. 80, 120.
All right, you run up, you nail it in the back. You take its head off. The head snaps off and the head rolls down close to the mercs. And like, they always say 2 heads is better than 1. And they all start chuckling. And the statues are looking at them and they're like, their mouths are moving, but you don't hear anything. All right, you've cleared out the 2 defending statues.
That is how you do it, sister.
Good job. Good job.
Good job, all.
You know, that's what you get paid for.
That's what we get paid for.
Exactly.
We almost say it in unison.
Yeah, that's what you get paid for.
Now, if we finish playing around, can we get on with it?
All right. So the tunnel just past the statues is about 15 feet tall by 20 feet wide. Upon closer examination, it looks like it was actually the back room of a structure. There are 4 large marble pillars on each side with massive marble pedestals between each that look like maybe the statues had once stood there. In the middle of the room is an altar carved from marble. It looks as if dust had been recently swept from it. On the face of the altar is the face of a bearded human-looking male, almost resembling Zeus or God. The overall room looks like it has been untouched for an eternity. A series of human footprints lead to the far end of the room where there are 2 doors left, one off to the left and one off to the right, that lead into another. No, Siri, I don't want you to do anything. That lead to another chamber.
So somebody's been in here, obviously. You said the dust had been swept off the altar. Yep. Does it look like there was ever an object on the altar or anything like that?
No, it actually looks like whoever dusted off, they were kind of like looking for, you see like there's some symbols and stuff on the altar itself. And it kind of looks like they were clearing away the dust off the symbols. And it looks
okay.
It looks kind of swept with a brush. It's not just like
okay.
Are there any tracks or any path, any indications of movement in the direction of the doors?
Yep, there are footprints that lead out. Actually, both doors.
Okay.
All right, let's go right.
Okay, you guys go right. Past the 2 doors is a large cathedral. There are 50 rows of marble pews with an aisle down the middle. Now, these pews are actually bigger than your typical human size. In the center of the doors is another large altar. Behind it, the statue of a bearded man with long curly hair and arms across his chest, gripping what looks like 2 holy symbols. He is made of marble. There is a large cathedral ceiling with a sculpted story portrayed. On the side walls are marble-framed windows. It looks as if there may have been glass there at one point. The footprints you are following lead past the pews into another large door carved from marble. The door is ajar, and it looks like it was pushed open with a lot of effort.
All right. We push the door open.
All right. You push the door open. The scene outside of the cathedral is that of ruin. Before the characters is a large city with more Greek design. Everything is carved from marble, including the streets. Buildings look smashed, streets cracked, and statues broken and strewn about. There are 2 large marble pedestals just outside the cathedral door, but no statues. What is more odd is that there appears to be light coming from above. Set in the ceiling is a large cave of the city ruins. Above the cave, set in the ceiling of the cave above the city ruins, a large cracked sphere. with a sputtering bright yellow like mini sun. The footprints lead down a set of stairs and onto the streets below.
So was this a single set of footprints?
There's a whole group.
Okay.
All right.
And when we think that the doctor is one of these people,
Yes.
The professor.
So it sounds like it's a pretty big cavernous area, correct?
Yeah, there before you is a massive city. So
Is
imagine Greece underground.
Is there
Rather
any
than
air
tramping
current?
around-
Excuse me.
Rather than tramping around it, wouldn't it be easier to use the suits to fly over it and see if we can spot anybody?
That's what I was going to ask. That's why I was asking if there's any air current. We could climb up the cathedral and jump off the side of the cathedral.
Yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
idea.
It's going to be a lot faster than walking around.
I'd totally.
Well, we
second
can
that
also
motion.
leap.
Well,
Our
searching
suits will
it
leap
even
40 yards, so.
Yeah.
Oh, they want to look out the other door first?
Is the cathedral high enough to look over the city?
No, definitely not.
What's the biggest building?
There is none. The cathedral's set a little bit higher because it's just up on kind of like a hillside, but then everything else is set below on the street level. I mean, you could glide, but you'd only be able to glide for like a block. There isn't that much height to.
Okay. So Crocker, you wanted to check the other door?
Yeah, I mean, might be a better way to go that way.
Yeah, let's do that.
You check the other door of the cathedral, and it actually just leads to the other side. So it's just basically there's two doors and the altar in the middle. So when you go check, it goes back to that altar room that goes back.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, so you're saying we could glide about a block, but so are there buildings like 2 stories high, 1 story high buildings? How
Yeah,
tall are they?
some of them are 2-story, some of them are 1-story. A lot of them are busted up pretty good.
So if we could you could glide for a block and then 40-foot leap in the air and glide for another block, it's still going to be faster than walking. It's just
Yeah.
Or can we glide from the tops of ruins to the tops of other ruins?
Yeah. According to the sheet, the heads-up display scans the surrounding environment. What's the range on that?
Probably about, I don't know, say 100 yards.
Okay. So I mean, if we were actively scanning while we were gliding and leaping around for heat sources.
Yeah, because we could scan for thermals. So why don't we start scanning for thermals?
Okay.
Do we spread out a little bit, form a skirmish?
Yep. Let's fan out and
everybody grid it out. Everyone take an area and search their designated area and see what we find is probably the quickest way of doing it.
You gonna split the party up?
What?
well,
Split the party. Woohoo!
not.
What could
I
possibly
think
go
we're
wrong?
better off doing a skirmish line. We're apart, but we're still together.
So
I
you're
would
still
agree with
within support distance of the guy on either side.
I agree.
Right.
15
Okay.
yards, 15 yards spread left to right.
Don't
Yeah.
do the party. I did that last night, and I don't want to do it today. Oh,
No, but I mean, it brings up a point. It's do a skirmish line, 15 yards spread. Everybody runs their thermals.
you guys do see on the street down below that there are a bunch of backpacks, and there's a satellite dish set up, a small satellite dish.
Okay.
Oh,
It's a trap.
It's a trap. So, are we picking up anything communication wise?
It looks like the satellite dish was linked up to the communication system they have set in that level of the shaft. So pretty much there's relay points. So it looks like it's connected to one of the relays. And you see there is a laptop on the ground that's partly open.
Any
Check
I'm
the
gonna go
laptop.
check out the laptop.
Yeah, I'm gonna check the laptop too.
Okay.
Crocker's
So you guys
already-
just gonna walk down the stairs down to where the gear is?
Yeah.
Okay, as you
Yeah,
start going down the stairs-
cautiously.
as you start going down the stairs, you see there's ammo casings everywhere, and there looks like there's like part of the walls on the side of the stairs being blasted away from the explosive. There are actually more marble pedestals up on top of the wall that look like they maybe had something at some point. There's nothing there anymore.
Is there any blood?
Yes, when you get down to the street level, there is an area where there's like looks like someone smeared blood all over the nice marble street.
Yeah.
Does
There's
it
no
look-
body?
Any drag marks?
It does look as someone there are some drag marks that kind of go off in one direction, but there's no blood that goes with them.
Any weapons?
There is an assault rifle that looks like it's been smashed.
Okay.
The two pedestals back at the cathedral, two pedestals here at the bottom of the stairs. Probably the party came down, set up their communications device before exploring the city, and then had 4 of the statue creatures jump them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably.
Mhm.
That would make sense.
What's on the laptop?
All right, who?
Yeah,
what's on the
exactly.
laptop?
I was
Well,
either me or Karina.
Yeah, Rena would grab the
So
laptop.
you guys pop open,
We'll let Rena grab it.
and you see there is a video that was getting ready to be sent. So the battery's almost dead, but there is when you open it up, there is a picture of Professor Garrison on the screen, and then there's like a video that kind of that looks like he was going to send as a report.
I hit play on the video.
All right,
Yep.
you hit play on the video. It's Professor Garrison, the sweet older gentleman with his little gray beard and stuff. Kind of looks like the dude from We made our way this far into the tunnel system. It's amazing. Greek architecture in a cave network that must be millions of years old. And it switches over to footage found from the opening. So you see that at where you guys came through, every pedestal has a statue. Including on this, there are hoplite statues like the ones you guys just trashed on. And then you see as they go through the cathedral and stuff, and they go down the stairs, you see there are lion statues that line the walls that aren't there. The hoplite statues look almost lifelike. The professor goes on and on about his findings before a man could be heard in the distance shouting. Then gunshots ring out. There is commotion, and two of the men closest to the professor grab him and run. There are heavy footsteps and more gunfire. An operator can be seen falling down, and a large foot comes crashing down on his chest. Blood spurts out of his mouth, and he goes limp. Then there is an explosion, and debris and dust sprays everywhere. And the video stops. And then if you listen carefully in the distance, you hear heavy footsteps and gunfire.
Can we? So how wide is this road that we're on?
It's actually pretty wide. So the entire area is kind of. Yeah, the road's pretty wide.
Well, can we get with all of our equipment, can we get an idea of where that sound is coming from? Is it directly in front of us? Is it off to one side or the other?
It is coming from further into the city, probably about maybe 6 or 7 blocks off to the left. So pretty much, say you have a square city here, you're here, and then somewhere here, well, you're watching, so it's going to be over here, would be where the sound's coming from.
Let's go. Double time it.
Yeah, I'd say you're right. And like you said, do a skirmish line and let's take up the entire road space out a little bit and go.
Yep.
I'll grab the laptop and put it in the backpack.
Yeah, good idea.
So
Yeah, toss it to him.
the first block you guys get to, it is not a friendly sight. I mean, not like anything in this game's been friendly since we started, but let's see here. Come on, that's ridiculous. So you come around the corner and you're walking, and you see there are 4 like large. They look like humanoids, but they were like made out of rough rock, and they're kind of just like looking around. And they stand probably about 10 feet tall.
Charge
Rock monsters.
You know, charge?
I got an anti-blade. I'm going up. I'll take the first one closest to me. I'm
I
just
charge the other side. I'm
just trying to take them.
Everybody
Abreast.
roll a d10 for initiative, because I want to make sure that no one gets left behind in this. And post it in the chat. Patrick finally redeemed himself from that really bad die roll.
Yeah, I did. I got it. That's awesome.
Wow. Okay. Brad and Benny, when COVID's over, you're gonna have to come to Maine, and I'll give you some dice that don't roll back.
No kidding.
Terrible.
Brad
I
might
blame
have to travel that
Alex.
long because he probably lives on the wrong coast. Benny, you're a couple hours away, so.
I might need a ritual to destroy this entire bag. Got it. Yeah.
Oh, and Byron didn't do much better either. I'm going to be sending lots of dice out, I think, after this. Luckily, the dollar store has dice, so.
I tried looking at mine the other day. They were all gone.
Okay, so Arena's going first. So
Kendo
it's gonna be your rumble plus your
Kendo.
special forces or your
Doesn't
whatever.
matter. They're both 40. So that is, oh my gosh. Damn die. 90.
Total.
What? Total? Yes, total. Total. That's why I said damn.
All right. You hit the creature. It's like are you stabbing, slashing? How are you?
Yeah, they come up and I was going to try to just, maybe take a head, just little sidearm action.
All right, you jump up and you go to hit it in the head, and like you hit it in the head, like just literally like pops off and like lands on the ground.
Awesome. Okay. Cool. Well, the 90.
Kuroda, you're next.
Let's see. The twins have either side, so I'll go up the middle. Go for the one in the middle. You said it's rumble plus special forces?
Yeah.
Okay. 100.
All right. You run up and you nail it. So you're going to try to take the head off?
Yep.
All right. You chop its head off and the head rolls on the ground.
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brad. You should have gone. Brad. No, wait. No.
I'm a 1. Well, I guess 3 of us are 1s. So.
Hatano, go ahead.
Damn. Okay. How many of them are left?
There were 4, so there are 2 left.
There were two left. Okay, fair enough. Both the same?
All right, give us a roll.
Okay, that's a 6. So my what we got? Okay, so 100. What am I adding to this? Might or agility?
Rumble.
Rumble. Ah, okay, fair enough. Okay, that's my straight. So 120.
All right, 120. You hit, and you take another head off as the head falls on the ground.
Cool.
Ryan, go ahead.
Here's some this time. I don't know how many different dice I need to try. Not even close. 30, 50. Yeah, nope.
What'd you roll total?
58.
I'm gonna say
It's
yeah,
your,
no.
you have an 8 rumble.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, because he's got a low rumble. Yeah, so yeah, this one steps back away from you and it's like makes a weird rumbling sound.
This pisses me off to no end.
Lee. Oh yeah, go ahead, Lee. I'll make Benny go last.
Don't worry about this, sir. This is what we get paid for.
Benny usually screws up really bad, so it's better I just let him go last anyways.
So since all of the creatures are engaged with a member of the party, am I able to engage without penalty, or do I have to roll something special?
Yeah, well there should be one left, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Then
you still
Lee
got one
will
that's not engaged.
Lee will recover from his momentary shock and fly past Kuroda to engage the one up the middle behind.
All right, give us a roll. Your rumble plus your special forces.
100.
100. All right. Yep, you are gonna hit. Were you gonna try to? What was your exact idea? How you want to?
Straight through.
Straight through?
Yep.
All right. You hit it in the chest, right? And all of a sudden, it looks at you and it smiles, and then the chest opens up, and your blade is sticking through a smaller, like organic creature,
Oh,
and it's like right in its right. Basically, you went through its mouth, severed its spine, and it's very dead. And the stone creature leans down, and the body kind of just falls out towards you, and it steps away, and it just walks off.
The stone creature walks off.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay. I'd say Lee is a little bit in shock that happening.
Yeah, it's a naked male humanoid that looks. It's got leathery type skin. Like the nose is not decomposed, but it's got more like a bat-like nose and little pointy ears. And the eyes don't look human whatsoever.
So this was the creature that was inside the
Yep.
stone. The stone creature opened up. This creature came out and is now walking off.
Yeah, and the stone creature is now walking off.
Oh, okay.
So the
So
fleshy creature you killed, it's actually
killed.
on your sword, and the stone creature just drops the body out of itself and walks off.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Who's next? Oh, Benny, you're next.
Me. I look at Crocker. Do you want that thing killed? Or do you want?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I'm gonna use a wild point to add to my roll because I don't trust my rolls, but we'll find out.
It's not like there's lava. What are you worried about?
40. 100.
100. You going after the one that's walking away?
Yeah. I was told to. That's what I get paid for.
All right. What were you slashing it, stabbing it? I don't.
Well, it's walking away, so I'm just gonna jump right on its back and just go right down into its head.
All right. You stab all the way through and stuff, and it kind of stops for a second, and then it splits in two, and the two halves reform into two separate humanoids, and it continues to walk on. But
okay,
they're
let's
just
not do
smaller.
that again.
Whoa.
And land on my feet like I look at Crocker.
And as they get far enough away from you, they walk back together and they reform into one creature, and it keeps going. And you guys notice that the other ones you've beheaded, they're picking up their heads and they're putting them back on.
Oh, great.
Kill the creature inside.
All
Yeah,
right.
we now know the trick.
So while they're putting the heads back on, they're not going to attack. Although you can hear while they're putting the heads back on, you hear something like you hear like a muffled, and you see they're all kind of like looking towards each other, and they're like kind of as they're putting their heads back on, shaking their heads.
Destroy the heads.
So
The creature's
Go through
inside.
the chest.
Arena, you're first. What would you like to do? These creatures, you hear muffling from inside the creatures, but these creatures don't look like they're aggressive.
I'm gonna I'm gonna follow the one that walked away. I mean, they don't seem to be engaging us, and these, I'm kind of curious as where that one's going.
All right, so you're gonna follow. Brad, you're next.
Yeah, so I guess I'll adopt a ready position, and if no one in the party's under attack, I'm gonna look to either Kuroda or Crocker for some instructions.
What do you guys tell them?
Let's stand down, everybody. Let's see where these things are going.
So you guys stop fighting, right? And so the creatures put their heads back on. They kind of back away, and all their chests open up, and these little creatures jump out. And so they're a little bit shorter, about maybe 4 feet tall and stuff. And they're like yelling and screaming at the stone creatures, and they're kicking them, and they're pointing at you guys, and they're screaming something in a very rough Latin. It's something like, kill them, I order you. What are you doing? And they're kicking and their stone things are just like looking at you guys, and they're just like pointing towards those little creatures.
I run back to one of them and I chop one of their little creatures' heads off.
Roll it.
I rolled a 10. So that's 160.
All right, you kill one, and the creature that it came out
Shut
of
up.
turns around and walks off.
Shut up. I turn to the others.
And you see the other two stone creatures. They almost look like they have a smirk.
Okay.
Let's see. That's Rena. Oh, I'm sorry. That should have been her. It should have been Arena. Oh, Arena was following. So, we're all out of order. Taylor, what do you want to do?
So how many of these creatures are left? 2?
Yep.
And they're berating the stone things to kill us.
Yes.
So I'm going to tell them, shut up. We didn't plan to harm you, but you made us. So unless you want to die, shut up now.
I think we should capture one of them and try to interrogate him.
I think we kill them all.
I think Crocker said we capture one of them, so we capture one of them.
All right. So how you just gonna like restrain them or something?
I'm going to try to restrain one.
Give us a rumble roll to grab onto one.
Let's see, 20, 90, 110.
All right, you grab onto one of them, and it's like, it's trying to bite you. It's like, when it goes to bite down, its teeth are so like fricked up that they start breaking when they bite onto your armor. And it's like, it's like got its speed up on you. It's trying to push, and I mean, it can't read. I mean, the micro systems in the suit are, you got like an iron grip on this thing. What about the other one?
Right.
We can kill that one.
All right, Crocker, give me a roll.
Oh, 9, so 118.
All right, so it's sitting there barking at the thing and pointing and stuff. And you walk up and you like literally just take its head clear off. And
He shoots, he scores.
Its head lands on the ground, and the stone thing like turns and walks off. Matter of fact, the stone one that belonged to the creature you guys captured, it walks off too. And they kind of wave as they walk off.
Hello, kitty.
And so, Arena, you see there are 3 of these statues, these stone creatures, walking kind of towards you as you're following the other stone creature.
Well, as I'm following, so the little guy that we cut in half and he reformed, I'm gonna punch him in the back of the head.
Harsh.
The one that reformed.
The stone one that reformed.
Okay.
Well,
Give us a rumble.
So that's Rumble plus Special Forces, right?
Yep.
Oh, about time. 150.
All right. You were you punching it?
The little guy that my sister cut in half and he reformed and walked away. And
it was just a stone. Okay, so you run up and so sword or punching?
I guess I thought it was the little creature on the inside.
No, the guys are dead. It's the statue that.
So then the statue, so they're just going to drive my blade right through its back of its chest. So right through its back I drive the blade right into his back.
You stab it, and like the stone like separates, and then it keeps walking forward until the blade's no longer in it, and it slowly starts to reform. And it turns and looks at you, and it starts barking at you, and like this weird. Your translator is having a hard time reading it. It's like part Latin, but not quite fully Latin, and it roughly translates to something like "piss off."
I don't think we can kill these things, but as long as they're not controlled by these other creatures,
okay,
we should be okay.
So you do have this one creature you've caught that's like screeching at you and clawing and scratching at Kuroda.
What's he saying?
It's something like your translator's picking up like rough along the line of something like, "I'm going to eat your flesh out of your skull" or something like that. It doesn't make much sense. He's like, meat, and he's trying to eat you.
Lee's gonna do a quick walk around the site of the little skirmish to see if I can pick up signs that we had been following for like something being dragged.
All right, you go to step away, and a hoplite statue steps around the corner. And it looks at you, then it looks at the creature, and it throws its spear and like hits the creature in the hip and like pins it to the ground. And and the hoplite statue says something about, found you, you dirty little Morlock. And it starts like walking towards the creature.
I will stay out of the way.
I let go of the creature.
All right, so the creature's pinned to the deck, and the hoplite walks up and literally just steps on its head and pulls the spear out. And then it looks at you guys, and it's like, and it yells at you, "Get out of our city!" In Latin.
We need to find some people in the city. Then we'll get out.
Yep.
Return out
What he
people,
said.
but leave your city.
If you help us
Yeah.
locate these people, we'll get out faster.
All right, so it gets ready to attack you, and then all of a sudden you hear this screeching sound come from above, and this giant bug the size of a cow, kind of like a nasty spider with lots of talons, lands on top of the hoplite, and they start fighting, and they reel down into another block.
Well, let's ignore that and head for where we think our people are.
Yeah, didn't you say there was gunfire and shouting?
Yeah, so you head off. Further down, you see that there is what looks like a lion. It is facing one of the buildings, and it's growling at the building.
That may be where the team took shelter.
Yep. Let's take this lion out, folks.
Ready, sister?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
It looks like the two of us are going to run up and just attack the lion.
All right, so I'll let the sisters attack the lion. Go ahead and roll your rumble. So when we're
100 even.
140.
All right. So you two run up and you pretty much you stab the lion and it breaks apart. I mean, you ridiculous amounts of damage to it. You crack the lion open in half and it collapses. And two operators come out of the building. Like, oh, it's like, please tell us you're the rescue party.
We're the rescue
We're the
party.
rescue party.
And I slice the lion, make sure that there's no little creatures inside that damn thing.
Nothing. It's a straight up marble statue. So you slice the lion and break it apart and stuff, and they're like, there's still 7 more people that are unaccounted for.
Where's the doctor?
Including the professor, who's the one we care about.
Professor, sorry.
We don't know. 3 of them went off in that direction. We haven't seen them since.
So the professor ran off in another direction?
Yeah, his security team took him.
Okay. Do you have comms with the security team?
No, we left everything back where we were camped out.
Okay.
Please tell me his laptop is still in one piece.
Yeah, we got it.
Oh, good. We spent 3 days in here before we got attacked.
Why don't you head back out?
We can't. We're not going by ourselves. Are you crazy? There's more of those things out there.
Well, then you're coming with us,
Or are you staying here?
or you're staying here, which either one may not be that safe. So
I am rolling so bad on this die today. It's not even funny. This is where I need to roll high. I was rolling high for all these combats except for this. All right, so you guys start exploring more, and you hear like this from some ruins. You hear this over here.
okay, we look over there.
All right, you see there's another military guy waving to you guys.
Head in that direction.
All right, you head in that direction, and you go inside the ruins. It's like this looks like an old house, or it looks like a house made out of marble. And there's the professor and another one of the military operators.
All right.
Goodness, the rescue party. And
Walk
Crocker, you
over.
recognize him as your, I mean, you know him personally, so.
So we walk over and what's the professor look like? Is he wounded? Is he alive? Is
Oh,
he
he's in
conscious?
perfect health.
Oh,
Mhm.
I wait for Crocker.
Crocker, you want to say anything
What
to
do
the
you want?
professor?
So what happened on this mission?
We came in through a drain, and then when we got ready to explore the cathedral, those statues came to life. And before I knew it, they killed one of the mercs, and they attacked one, and they killed one of my assistants. And
So down to 7?
no, we had more than that. What you have, the 9 people that were left alive consisted of some of the research team and then the rescue team.
Oh.
It's like, tell me you have my laptop.
We have your laptop.
Like, oh, he runs up, he grabs his laptop and he hugs it. He's like, I have way too much work on this. It didn't send, did it?
No, I don't think it did. So let's I don't know.
Let's
Taylor,
86 out of here. We got the professor, we got some survivors.
Yeah.
Now we have the professor. My only interest is getting him to safety.
Yep.
Can we ask the professor, do you have any idea what triggered the statues to come alive after 3 days of being here?
No, we went inside the cathedral and went into the back room, and when we came back out,
I have done it.
Where is
So
the
what-
drain that your team came in through, the alternate way?
it sealed up when we came through. So we remember there was a cave in, and we didn't want to go in through into that back room at the time because we thought that it might have been something important. So we kind of wanted to go in a safer way.
Are you guys the ones that cleaned up the altar?
Yes. Isn't it amazing? I mean, it was Greek architecture. We are 15 miles below the Earth's surface, and there's a Greek city. And the sun is amazing. He starts rambling on about like how important this find is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep
later,
looking around for
professor.
danger.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah, Leslie, I'm totally amazed. Wow.
We're on the clock. Let's go, boys.
I don't even show amazement. I just keep looking around, make sure we're okay, and keep walking.
All right, you guys head out. You guys head back towards the cathedral, and the other straggling survivors start popping out and stuff a little bit here and there, and like, oh, rescue party, and they follow you. And once they get to the camp, they grab up all their gear and stuff, and they kind of look around like, we got bodies back here. It's like, what about the others though? Are we gonna leave the bodies behind?
Bodies stay here.
You're more than welcome to carry him out if you'd like.
They're like, yeah, no, we'll take the ticket out of here. We're not paid for this.
Either we here.
Yeah, we're not paid for this either.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you can move the one that got stepped on anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So at this point going forward, Hatano sticks to the professor basically like glue. He'll do anything he can to protect him, make sure he's the one we drag out of here, even if nobody else comes out with us.
Rock, you want a sample of one of those little creatures?
I don't. Do we want?
Oh yeah, we might as well grab a sample of the one that got crushed.
I mean, there's one without a head. There's one that's got skewered. So we got a couple.
Yeah, we have the one hoplite. Yeah, hit. Let's drag him out. We can always run some sign experiments on him.
Yeah.
That's up to Crocker. He's paying the bills.
Bag one of those little creatures.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so you head up the stairs and you walk inside the cathedral. As you move to the main part of the cathedral, you are greeted by a whole bunch of poplight statues. There's like 6 of them, and then some lions. They're inside the cathedral itself. The large statue standing behind the altar begins to move, and he turns and starts looking down towards you. And it starts speaking. So the professor will understand what it's saying because the professor speaks Latin, but your translators also understand as well.
All right.
Statue speaks. Creatures of another world, what business do you have here?
We're leaving.
Crocker could explain that one.
Yeah. Purely scientific.
Yeah, scientific research. Trying to learn about other civilizations such as yours.
So you are not of Abaddon's kin then?
I've never heard of Abaddon.
I'm not familiar with Abaddon. Who might that be?
Oh, good. I have stood guard for countless centuries, keeping watch for the Dark One and his legions. My people have long since turned to sand, unable to sustain themselves in the deep. These protectors and myself are all that are left of our great kingdom. We assume that you are followers of Abaddon. There have been whispers from the Grand Hall of sinister going-ons. We have yet to see anything. That was until the back wall of the inner sanctum collapsed. Violating our holy site is punishable by death, surface dwellers. And since you've explained you are here to learn, I will not carry out that sentence. Many cycles ago, we encountered a man that, like you, was in search of knowledge in the deep. He was curious and full of questions. We never saw him again, but there were tales of a man from the surface world that met a terrible fate further into the deep. But these are just tales. We wish no conflict with you. So I shall allow you access to the ruined city to retrieve your belongings if you've left any, and recover anyone you may have lost. Dead flesh attracts the attention or the unwanted attention from the Grand Hall.
Who are the creatures that were controlling these statues?
The slimy creatures, the Morlocks. They were once a great civilization in the lower levels, and they turned to evil and turned to cannibalism, and they've been a pain ever since. Their master is Abaddon, the Dark One.
Do you have any idea where this Abaddon may be? Or you have no idea, or any rumors?
He's in the furthest depths at the bottom of the Grand Hall, in the fiery plains.
Yeah. Crocker, we're gonna need a little more money if we're going to the
We have
fire.
to renegotiate the bonus pool.
Yeah, we're gonna renegotiate the contract at
My
this point.
contract.
If we're literally going to hell, we need a little bit more money.
I'm gonna want one of those guns too, if you don't mind.
So is that, are you talking the Great Hall up above where those original statues were, or are we talking somewhere else?
The Grand
Asking
Hall,
the GM.
beyond the city, the farthest point of our city,
Oh, okay.
there is a tunnel that leads to the Grand Hall, which travels from the surface world, or had an opening from the surface world to the bottom of the deep. But the Grand Hall was sealed centuries ago by the lost civilizations.
Hasn't Crocker been looking for a way to access the Grand Hall and hasn't found it yet?
Yes.
So
You can get there through this city.
Well, yeah, I mean, is that where we're heading next, or we need to get the professor out of here? I think that
we
was
got to get the professor out of here.
yeah.
The job is getting the professor out. Everything else is side quests at this point.
I agree.
And I'm not getting paid to go back in to get bodies, so
No.
I believe I read something about moppers. I mean, they sound like the type of people that would go in and mop up. After.
Yeah, we can send a cleanup crew to gather equipment and that stuff.
Yeah.
That's what mercs are for.
You guys are gonna head out through the ruins.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so you guys head out, and the mercs are standing there, and they're all kind of laughing and stuff, and they're sitting in front of the heads, and they're like taking pictures, selfies with the heads that their mouths are moving and stuff, and the eyes are moving.
hey guys, I think you're up.
And the professor looks at you guys. It's like, gentlemen, I have a job for you. So pack your gear. You're going in.
Like I
And that
said, you're up.
Yeah.
And that is where this event ends.
Excellent.
You bring the professor
Excellent.
up in the room.
Stuff.
All right,
Cool.
Flint, you're up.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, obviously the next event is the sequel to this, where you go in with the moppers and you're looking for the corpse in the map and all that, which you guys have already got a sneak peek at. That just sounded. First of all, Jay did an incredible job of getting us through this.
Thank you, Jay.
A new game system and all that. So, how do you guys feel? I mean, there are a few things we were trying out in this scenario. I'm just gonna put my earbuds on, so I'm that we're trying out in this scenario. I wanted to start, just because I'm basically a cheap, trashy cartoon writer at heart. I wanted to start out right on the action and then go back and backfill the story. Did that work for you?
Yeah, it's just like they do in the movies.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not uncommon to happen in role-playing games to do a high-res sort of start and then go back and fill in a bit of information afterwards.
Yep.
Exactly. That's what we're trying to get to with it.
it helps to draw people in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
The only trouble with that is you have to be careful that it doesn't conflict with what happens afterwards, which I've seen happen, which is a little bit unfortunate.
Oh, really? What do you mean? So, like, what's
Well, you start doing a series of actions, and people make decisions or sort of do things, which you then go back and do the briefing, and you think to yourself, I wouldn't have done that if I'd have had the briefing before we started doing this.
They
right?
brief you. Under no circumstances should you kill the flying things.
We did have the opportunity
we were
to ask
about doing the
questions. We
briefing
just
while
didn't
you
know
were
what.
falling, because you get
Yeah.
to fall for a long time, and it's like, while you're plummeting in there, you're doing the briefing.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think is down there and that you're going to encounter?
So it kind of sounds like each of these chambers has its own ecosystem, I guess, if you will. Like its own series of manifestations of the Subterraliens and the animating spirits. One of my favorite moments, I think, from this session was when the hoplite shows up, and we're kind of all, not sure how this is going to play out. And then the flying one kind of comes in. For me, that had a real strong original Clash of the Titans movie feel.
Yes.
Where they're fighting the different creatures which are totally overmatching them, and then the scorpion comes along and is fighting so I love that mixing of the elements, kind of the intersection of the two different ecosystems.
Well, yeah, because that's what we're trying to go for. Because there is, I mean, this is a whole living world down here that sort of gets along with each other, but it's not like everybody down here is against us. It's not like everybody's here is for us. It's not like everybody's even connected in their own ecosystem. As a matter of fact, us coming down there is probably going to mess up what's been a pretty stable balance for a while. But then again, some are starting to come up to us. So, it's not, this is not a humans create all the problems in the world story.
Yeah, the game is designed. We've played it with there. You're gonna actually you all get the starter for this. Like, I'll send you a link for the PDF and stuff. But it has 3 different levels of play.
Yeah.
So there's the hard sci-fi action, which is what you guys just did. There's the military-esque one. Then there's the conspiracy theorist one, which is like where you're normal people getting involved in situations. And I had been working on this with Flint, and I was like, man, this would be a great horror game. And so I was in the shower, and I quickly came up with a scenario, and then Benny and another guy that play tested said, hey guys, want to quickly play test? I want to know how horror works. And they played it, and they're like, wow, this actually makes a really good horror game too. And so the game set that it's not just you have your characters and you play out a scenario. It's you can literally start with you're the poor sucker that just walks into this stuff. Then you're playing the blogger that's going to go investigate it. Then you're playing Crocker's team that goes to deal with it, and then you're playing the crew that goes in to clean up after. So it's a tiered thing where you can play it at any different level with, you basically build. You can do a campaign where you have different characters every time you play it.
I think it'd be interesting to play like those earlier steps too, because having to improvise and come up with some way to fight, these creatures, because when you've got the super awesome sword and the sword can kind of slice through everything, it kind of reduces things down to just a roll. But if you're playing those earlier stages, at some point you're gonna have to figure out what the hell do I even have available to me that's gonna allow me to try to save my own skin.
Yeah, no, I think I agree. I think that ought to be the next thing we concentrate on is the what happens, the regular horror person just coming upon this stuff and not knowing what to do.
Yeah, and honestly, what I feel like what's down there is almost cosmic horror type thing. Like there's something really, really big that's down there that wants to destroy everything, or we shouldn't be encountering.
Right. The things that are better left alone.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in here as well and sort of be like, from the outsider perspective, simply watching the game and being having seen enough MST3K to sort of know these pop fiction B horror movie kind of plots where it's like, we're gonna go into the middle of the hollow earth. It has a lot of, but that seems to be sort of like the mood of what this particular scenario was, but at the same time has a lot of potential of like going a completely different opposite direction of like more in line with Mountains of Madness kind of stuff. And I think in this particular world, in this particular setting, there is plenty of room to have both.
Yeah,
that's what I think. I mean, because the whole fun of a lot of this stuff is you set up a world and then you say, how many different ways can we approach it?
Yeah. I mean, for those people that have played the Mountains of Madness Cthulhu scenario, if you went into it with powered combat armor and high-tech swords, that scenario would go very differently.
The monster list we have so far, like when we sat down into the monsters, we went through all the stuff that Flint had in the notes, and then we expanded upon that to, it's like I go get up in the morning, come in here and start typing. It's like, you could have this monster too. So literally, I completely took away from any type of trope that I've seen and made it much more, the variables are far more crazier. And the armor thing, that was kind of like one of those, Flint's like, no high-tech armors. And he's like, you know what? Wouldn't it be cool if we had high-tech armors? I'm like, yeah, I'll get on that. So he said whatever he wants goes in. It doesn't matter. So we put it in. It's like, okay, so this works for this. The Lancers aren't meant to really be a player unit. It's a nice way to introduce kind of like the environment of where you're going to be going and stuff without having a total party kill, which some people really love the TPK, but it's like, if you're not learning about the game or learning about the setting, the TPK is useless because it's like, yeah, we all got killed, so that's all this game is. We all die.
Flint, what's the core game that you want people to play?
I mean, that's what we're trying to figure out. Okay, the thing, basically, what this really is much more to me. It's been a world building exercise.
Yeah,
to try to create a world where you could create endless numbers of enemies and endless numbers of heroes and all sorts of environments. As long as they're inside the center of the earth. I mean, I imagine they could be on the surface, and then go with it wherever you want to go. I mean, I view this. For me, this is a world building exercise. And so I turn the question back and say, okay, sort of knowing what you know about it, what would you want to go do next? Or what should we do with the world next?
I was thinking an interesting, because it seems like a nice open world. And an interesting concept would be, what came first? The Greeks on the Earth, on the Subterranean, or the Greeks on our plane, and what's the correlation between? Because you're saying that you have, like Jay was describing, you have like some Egyptian, you have Greek, you have
right.
How did that happen? Did the Subterraneans come up, or did somebody go down?
Yes.
That's amazing. That's what really gets me. That hooks me.
Okay, so all right, so let's just riff off it. I mean, because the whole thing is just make this a fun world to play in that's simultaneously a little familiar and a little not. Okay, so what does that look like? What's the next adventure we should do? spinning off of that.
Well, like, so almost kind of to take kind of a movie here. What was that movie with Tom Hanks? The Leonardo, not the
Da Vinci
Leonardo.
Code.
Yes, like the kind of the Da Vinci Code ish type, conspiracy. How did something like that, little conspiracy and intrigue, like who created what? That's kind of, I don't know if maybe Da Vinci Code or Dresden Files. I'm just kind of riffing here, kind of different.
Right. No, but you're saying, do that. Tell me if I'm making a statement that's really a question. You're saying, let's go find out what the golden source of the whole world was. In other words, who came first and when, and we're putting together clues from ancient times.
Yeah.
One of the things.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and kind of the which came first? The world up top, the world below, and then is there a connection? Is there a conspiracy behind it? Is there, what does it all mean? That type of
stuff. So, all right, so all these civilizations were hatched down there, and some were maybe driven up out of the and they became the great civilizations that we remember. And all of our underworld stories are basically distant cultural memories of the time we emerged from the center of the earth. I mean, because that mystery gets to deconstructing myths, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I think would be really cool. Yeah,
and
every civilization there is has some kind of an underworld story. Well, we've never paused to ask why that is.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm also the thought that keeps going through my mind is sort of like, how did all this Greek and Egyptian and et cetera, how did all these ancient cultures find their way down here? And my immediate thought goes to, well, Atlantis. Atlantis was swallowed up.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this goes back to sort of the chicken and the egg scenario that we have, which frankly I enjoy that not being explained, and I like that being a mystery.
Also, you can think of this, a lot of ancient civilizations have flood legends, like Atlantis.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the legend of Gilgamesh, which has the Great Flood.
Yep.
I mean, the
Noah's Ark.
Noah's Ark has a great flood. There's a great flood in the Chinese mythology. So there's a lot of great floods that just sank, and that could all be interconnected too.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, because I think what the Great Flood was about, it was about, I'm guessing, and partly I'm proposing it as a fictional idea, and partly I actually believe it, is that may have been, when Pangea, or however you pronounce that, when that all broke up.
Pangea.
Yeah, Pangea. Yeah, but when Pangea broke up,
This guy don't know about Pangea.
So
that makes some sense. It could be something along those lines. It could be that a flood somewhere in that. Some say that the Mediterranean was not a sea at one point in time and got flooded.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason you have all of these flood myths in ancient history, and primal mythology, is that that's really about when humans surfaced on the earth, or when we were redistributed, or when our underground, because remember, you figure, and let's take this, okay, half of what I'm saying is defensible conjecture, half of it's just complete nonsense, but we're in fantasy world here anyway. But you can make some kind of a fictional story about the idea that we lived there. There was a time we lived in caves, and we emerged from the caves, and some emerged from the caves and went to the surface, and some went down. And for a time there were just trade, and there was stuff going on between the two. And the ones that went down somehow had to deal with what was already down there that they discovered. And the ones that came up pretty much forgot about all that stuff. And at some point through, tectonic shifts, or through wiping out of cultures, or from passages collapsing, because remember, some of those mineralians, they're just actually living things that, move like 1 beat a year. And so, they've kind of attacked and sealed everything off. And so that we've totally forgotten about them, but culturally and in our mythological memory, we remember, the times when we lived under the earth. Because, I could easily believe that, do I really believe it? No, but I mean, from this fictional conceit, I can believe that some humans just said, hey, it's safer to be under the earth. That's just, it's kind of like, mammals like, dolphins, basically returning to the sea. I mean, these were land mammals that looked around on the earth and looked around at the sea and said, I think that sea thing's that's a better environment to, and then you get these, like otters and seals and stuff like that. They're saying, oh, we'll kind of split the difference.
Well, another motivation is
what?
Another motivation is greed. And that was I guess, an offering I was going to kind of throw in from a role-playing dynamics perspective. Because I think some players are highly motivated by the meta story and wanting to put things together and reveal the mystery. But usually in any group that I've been a part of, 20 to 40% of players they're going to go for the greed, and so that was one of the things I think, Jay, you did a fantastic job of doing kind of the grand, the grandeur and the majestic settings of this, big Greek city. What I was kind of hoping was that along the way, there would be some irresistible temptations to loot. Because
definitely have that next section.
Yeah, because nothing will throw a party's plan off like some really fat target, sitting right there that I could just go grab real quick, and that of course throws everything off the rails. It seems like my Shadowrun group GM's favorite tactic to try to screw up each mission is dangle a little bit of loot out there. And I love the subterranean setting for that, like diamonds the size of your arms, and if ancient Greek tablets that would be worth literally a fortune if you take that and take it back up. So
are you playing in the next game? Because literally I'm like, oh, dude.
Go full conquistador on it. Oh wow, look at this gigantic, complex, intricate civilization we know nothing about, and they have gold.
Yeah, absolutely, and not to mention conflict metals, stuff we can't get on the surface much anymore, which is why a lot of modern nations are digging around in there and they're not telling us about it.
And that'd be why somebody like Crocker would have a motivation, right? He's got to pay for all of this, and so for him, there's a strategic element of each operation has to pay for itself in some way.
Well, what about
so part of it's got to be okay. So your resource base is everything from ancient archaeological objects, stuff just basic like gems and oil, conflict metals.
But also the material that the armor and the guns are made out of, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Those are like special substances. I don't know whether you can go all the way to, manufacturing techniques that are really easy to do, deep in the earth, and especially when you have a lot of molten stuff around.
Well, you talked about greed. What about the companies that are on the surface that run hunting expeditions, because it's the ultimate to go down and hunt Morlocks, or the ultimate to go down and hunt stone creatures, and people paying millions of dollars because they're sports hunters and they're going down there. And then, one of those, a scenario going down there and being like, oh, this is not what we bargained for. But, but motivated because they want the trophy. They want they want the lion's head or the tusks or something like that. They want the trophy to bring back and, have a stuffed warlock in their study or something like that.
Or
that'd be great.
Like that interfere, the recurring, kind of nemesis that shows up as the team's getting ready to execute the mission, and all of a sudden the shot rings out from the higher powered hunting rifle, and the stealth approach that we were about to take is totally ruined because the third party is there.
Right. What's not clear is how many access points there are to this world and where they are.
Yeah.
Can every country access this? Is the access point only in Japan? That really does change the dynamic quite a lot.
And we're discovering all sorts of access points, and we're not discovering them. They're creating, because remember, they're getting aware of us.
Yeah.
And some of the things living down there might say, hey, that's kind of cool. Let's go hunting for humans up on the top.
See now there's so then you have a group up top that tries to find them. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. At the moment, what you've got is a fantastic sandbox with lots of interesting things in it.
Yes.
But I think as a game, you need some kind of narrative running through it.
That is correct. And what we're doing right now is trying to find that narrative.
Yeah. So Flint, to like go way back to like one of the questions that I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the gentleman's name. Matt. Yes. On sort of like what you wanted the core game to be, because it's sort of like, we talked about the horror, the possible horror elements, the possible whatever elements, and of course, once this game takes off and it grows and evolves, that's DLC. That's additional modules. Like even D&D. Hey, we want to play a horror D&D game. Well, that's Curse of Strahd, right?
Yeah.
So, but like when I look at this game on its just very like baseline ideas of it, right? The immediate image that comes to my head is just sort of the old B movie kind of the old B movie thing where sort of like, some scientist and a couple of his scientist buddies and one guy, the one American who's really good with guns, the cowboy, right? Go down into the center of the earth and they see, really badly animated monsters and, the giant dinosaur is just, an iguana that they've superimposed against, a backdrop or something like that. And for me, looking at this game, just this very brief view of it, that is the core game. It is that 1950s pop, a pop science fiction, Jules Verne-esque kind of thing, where sort of, scientist and his buddies and a cowboy go down into the center of the earth and, find a lot of interesting things and then shoot them.
Right.
Yeah, see, I'm an old Doug McClure guy. I've really got that, journey to the center of the earth kind of.
Well, if you hang around for the next scenario, we are definitely going to journey to the center of the earth. I mean, the thing I'm sincerely asking because it's like my whole feeling is I'm just building the sandbox that I want to play in. But I'm really interested in what parts of it other people would want to play in.
So I'm gonna just, having played this in a few other scenarios with Jay, I actually do enjoy the tiers because I've played. I'll be honest with you guys. I played this one before. I played it again. I've played the mop up crew, and I've played the the innocent person getting thrown in to the to this world, and that was awesome. That was awesome horror. It was great. I liked all three of them, and all three of them had this great feel to it, and all of them had the underlining Subterraliens theme, which is awesome. Like I said, the last one with the horror, you could almost make it. That's the cosmic horror. That's the Cthulhu feel to it. Because there's innocent people getting thrown into this thing, and then you have this sci-fi with the guys with the power armor just going in and taking learning more. Like that's the in-depth. Like, oh, this is what we're learning. Like we learned about abandon through that statue. Like that's like, oh wow, there's more. That's the core. That's the thing. You can almost have like a secret society almost that knows about the abandon but wants to either keep it secret or keep it for themselves or wants to use it somehow thrown in there. But I'm just saying that I like the 3-tier system. I think it's unique amongst any role-playing game that I've experienced because you can do 1, 2, 3 things, and that's awesome.
It's not Unknown Armies, does it?
Yeah, there's not many that do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple around. There's not a lot, I agree with you, but there are a couple around that do that kind of tiered system of intrigue, if you like.
But I think Flint, when you were talking about like creating a sandbox, I think that's what you wanted. I mean, I think it's a great idea. I think the concept, the whole idea, you create the sandbox world, because I mean, we're all talking about all these different things. So as people start to play this game, you're going to have different GMs that are going to focus on the cosmic horror. They're going to focus on the intrigue. You're going to focus on, a strike team going in to rescue somebody. But it's all based upon what the GM is, and so I think, at least from my interest, because I would definitely run this on my own, would be I'd love to get like flavor text, like what do some of these creatures look like? What do the Morlocks look like? Let's get some stats on this armor. Let's get some stats on these guns. Let's get some stats on, and let's learn more about like Black January and what do they do, and what are these organizations? That's the type of stuff that I think you're going to find as this catches on. GMs are going to want this information, just like in any system out there. Yeah.
Well, the thing I would love to do, because this is just, kind of what I do. I mean, is create a system where, yes, we keep making, monsters and categories and all that, but create a system where people can build their own and then just feed them back into the system. Okay. And also a part of it is evolving the story in the world and how we relate to it. So your introduction is you can be Joe Blow gardening when something really funky comes up in your backyard. Okay, the first time you encounter Subterraliens, and now you know about them. Some part of me never gets past. Yeah, not all of us. Yeah, I think never get past like things we saw when we were a kid, right? And what I really loved was the invaders, where like only David Vincent knew, that they were out there. So you get to a point which I think is very timely and relevant, like right now. I mean, I want it to be something. I want to get all the fun, and thrill we got out of stuff we saw when we were kids, but I want to get something you can kind of squint and take a little bit for real now. And I believe right now we live in a time in our culture where all of this could be happening. There's one whiff of it in the I can't remember whether it made it into the teaser that comes at the front of the module, or whether it's in my piece for Medium. But there's a thing where what COVID was really about is there'd been massive breakouts of these things, and we had to clean them up. So you wanted everybody locked into their house, so nobody would know this stuff was happening. Yeah, and that's why there's so much fake news and disinformation, and everything gets debunked and fact-checked.
The flat earthers are out there to try and discredit the hollow earthers. Yeah. Nobody's ever going to believe there's a hollow earth if people are running around saying the world is flat.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and so there's just all sorts of disinformation and weird explanations for what's happening, and things don't get reported, because we really are in a world now with extreme communication, but a very monitored, internet, living in a surveillance state. Because we really are in a world right now where this could be going on and we wouldn't know it. And our big vulnerability is that we think we know what's going on. I like when I was a kid, you could half believe Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot and, Ripley's Believe It or Not and all that, because the world was so big and mysterious and things weren't recorded. Yeah. Now we believe everybody in the world's walking around with an iPhone, but we also live in a world where everybody has, can create some kind of CG, where everybody can do deep fakes now. Have anybody had a deep fake done from a still picture of them? Yeah. And so you can easily argue that it's a real picture of a real Subterranean trashing a town, but now you're saying, no, it's a deep fake, forget it, it's not happening.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the deadliest phrase in the world now is the camera never lies, because most of the time the camera it lies all the time to you.
Oh, okay. All right. That's one of these mottos. Okay. The camera always lies.
Yeah.
Meaning, okay. Yeah. I mean, that's the motto of this world.
Head, isn't it? Camera always lies.
And that would be a great real world horror episode where something really horrible happens, you get it on your iPhone, and it's immediately debunked, and nobody believes it, and your credibility is attacked, and various corporate interests, because these the tech giants and all that are obviously deep into covering this stuff up, because they're probably sending the expedition teams down there. It's some Google moonshot to get a corner on conflict metals, and so they're just anything you post on it gets taken down as being unreliable or gets debunked and foolified, and they release 10 other videos that look just like it, and it's so you really can have a world now where you can know this stuff is happening, and nobody would believe you.
Nobody believe a word of it.
I come from a lot of the RPGs that I play these days are like World of Darkness and stuff like that. So this is like right up my alley in terms of content of like, no, vampires aren't real, but we have camera evidence of a vampire doing shit. Nah, it's deep fake.
Yeah, it's a deep fake. You didn't fall for that, did you? And so you can get these characters who start out total innocence, have a legitimate bad experience, with subterraneans and things from the center of the earth. Nobody believes them. Then they run into the person who says, "I believe you," and join me, because they're covering it up. And so all of a sudden, you've gone from being Joe Blow in your character journey. I mean, that's the other thing I've been trying to bring more to role-playing games. And I'm sure, I'm not going to come up with some idea 10 to 100 other people haven't done. That's that's not possible. But this is what?
Have you read Delta Green at all?
I'm sorry, say again. I couldn't understand.
Delta Green.
Delta Green.
Delta Green at all?
Yes.
Which is a community setting. Because that does a lot of that. I mean, you're quite right. You're never going to invent something completely new and fresh, because there's just not that many ideas out there. You've just got to try and put together something which is interesting for people and draw in the elements, and maybe present it in a slightly different way.
Yep.
But I mean, Delta Green does a lot of that kind of sort of conspiracy stuff very well, sort of X-Files-y kind of thing. I think this would be very fun with an almost kind of Cold War setting, with people kind of pulling up bits of information and technology and stuff, and then sort of seeing how it affects people in the arms race politically.
Yes, because I think there are just themes that are a lot of fun in the modern world now. I mean, they may be slightly horrifying to us in real life, but they're fun fictional concepts. Yeah. And that is that you really, I love pursuing the idea that you really can, you really can be convinced that what you're seeing with your own eyes isn't true. Or other people around you can be manipulated into believing that you're either putting them on, or that that you've gone crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Or that you're really gullible. Take your pick.
Gaslighting on a societal level.
This is exactly, and it's gaslighting for fun and profit. For for the people that are doing it. That are gaslighting you, and because what they're doing is they're actually hiding really secret stuff that they're trying to benefit from.
Yeah,
because all the ideas we've been talking about in this conversation all kind of cycle together into this idea that into this idea that you have really valuable stuff in there that people are fighting over, that all sorts of different groups for their own reasons want to keep secret. So there is, I don't really think of it, it sort of, as I've evolved in my thinking about conspiracies, I think of them now more as complicities. Okay, that's not a word, but the idea is that it's not a bunch of people with hoods sitting around a room, doing this, but it is a bunch of groups on their own for reasons of their own, working together to create an alternate picture of the world. Let me put it that way. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. There aren't lizard men living in the center of the earth controlling everybody, but at some point there were. Yes,
and we have no idea how many people have been compromised by group, you know, how sentient some of these groups and how aware of us some of these groups are. And there may be information sources that we trust who are actually being, you know, compromised by unseen forces. But what I'm really interested in too is the idea of a you know, a fantasy where that grows with the players. Yeah, in other words, like the more you play and the deeper you get in the deeper you understand the world, that at some point you almost become one of the people concealing the truth.
Yeah.
I like that.
You know, you become complicit in the cover up because, and you probably think you're doing the right thing, but you're everything you've been complaining about. Yeah, I love to put players in that position and let them wriggle out of that one.
Eventually, you start to benefit from the secrecy.
Yes, and but in the first you know, the first time you played, you were just a regular person who didn't know anything about this, and then it evolves to, okay, you know quite a bit about it, and it's being covered up, and for 10 minutes you try to enlighten the world and tell them the grave danger they're in. You discover really quickly that nobody wants to hear it, and then somebody says, "Look, you know, this is all real. It's not your imagination." And you know, and I'm exploring and getting you know, and I want you on my team. But you know, in order to do that, you've got to be very discreet, and so you have this moral bridge you have to cross. And this kind of, you know, I mean, I love doing that to the players because then you can have real live, you know, player character growth. You know, and then you realize, you know, well, you know, I bought into this a while ago, but this isn't going where I wanted to go, and so now you're trying to break out of the conspiracy that you signed up for, and that causes its own set of problems, and you can just keep turning that lens around and around and around.
I think that a lot of this is going to come down to the GMs that run it.
Yes.
And you know what they want to run. But like I said, you know, I go back to it. I think you create, you know, you got a great sandbox. It's just and you're giving, you know, provide the source material and the adventures and the concepts will definitely you know, evolve, you know, as different people take their different takes on it. And and that's kind of what you've been saying. And I think I'm excited. I'd love to
and I can keep playing my same character, and Jay's sandbox is is the adventure stuff with real troops and real world. Okay. My sandbox is everyday horror, and somebody else's sandbox is the kind of fantasy super soldiers funded by corporations and dubious governments.
Yeah,
and you can do them all. I mean, you could do an under the earth strategy game if you wanted to.
It's really cool.
You know, and so yeah, that's the thing is how do you build a system where you have, you know, coherent adventures, and you know, I'm sure this has been done. I mean, you know, I'm not maintaining nobody's done any of this stuff before, but where you can have coherent adventures in a campaign, but it's constantly luring you into some other facet of the property.
Yeah,
franchise.
Core book actually has like a lot of the stuff you guys have been talking about. It's in there, which is really cool because it's like, so good. I won't have to write about that later because it's already been written. Because like we have 100 pages of solid text, and it's like the world stuff, along with like, you know, some of the core encounter type things, but they cover like a very broad spectrum of like gameplay. So the idea was to make it really, you know, accessible for everybody.
By the way, the regular conversation Jay and I have is, hey, I got this idea. What if did you read page 67? You know, and it's already in there. Okay, no, I didn't read
that was for the last 3 months or whatever we've been working on this. That has literally been the conversation, to the point where I'm like, I can't write any more, Flint, until you've read it. And then he's like, I've read the whole thing. What if we do? It's like, you didn't read it good enough. It was like, but it's there. And then he's like, what about this? I know you don't have this. I'm like, it's in there tomorrow. And
But,
so,
well, I
like,
don't think I've said, I know you don't have this, because at this point, I've
No,
already
it's-
do have it.
he'll be like, I think it's a great idea. What about this? It's like, okay, we don't have that. Let me go add it. Or we did a play test where it's like, wouldn't it be cool if we had this? I'm like, yeah, that would. So I put a note in the core file, and I went to add on it. I'm like, oh, we do have this. So I don't even remember what I've written anymore. It's like,
Well, yeah, I
it's
mean,
so much.
yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, I would love it if somebody here would start running some kind of a campaign and we actually got to play it. I'd love to see how somebody else plays in the sandbox.
Well,
And that's where I get the joy out of this kind of creativity, is to see what other people do with it.
Well, if you can get the player's handbook out of there and out in the, so we could purchase it, and then
No,
you know,
you guys are early adopters. I mean, we'll give you the player's handbook. You just
before,
give it.
before Christmas, I told
I'd be more than happy to run a campaign on this, because this is really cool. I love the concept.
Okay, so let's just look to doing it. We find some live ones, and we just start it, and Jay and I'll keep turning out, different, we'll turn out, if this is good with you, Jay, we'll turn out sort of every different kind, a version of every different kind of take that we have, and with something that connects it with other, with the other ways of playing it. And then as soon as somebody wants to, do their own scenarios, that'd be really great, based off it. But, we just do the sandbox, but we do the sandbox with the idea that it facilitates different kinds of play and growth of the characters, so that, the game morphs in the course of playing it from, so you're not always, well, even X-Files morphed. I was going to say, you're not always Scully, who's disbelieving, all of a sudden now you're believing. Now you're running into disbelievers, or you're downright trying to cover it up yourself for your own motives.
Yeah.
And so you go on this whole journey of starting as one thing and then becoming something else, and then looping back over it because you realize that what I'm doing is not working out so well, and kind of back and forth. So you really are a master of this world, and I'd love to see that with the DMs being the masters of the, that they master the world to the point where they're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that is our next assignment, is to the next one is let's get out the real world horror, the horror one that you did, the real people.
I can put that video online, because that was pretty grotesque and fun. So it had an interesting element to it, and kind of just wanted to toy around. And of course, when I was working on it, like, oh wait, this kind of looks like this, I got to change it. And so it gives you even more like a peek into the other. There's plenty of like villainy out there, and it kind of gives a peek into some of that. So with this thing, it was kind of like, we wanted to get like into the deep, give us the archaeology, give us like the mineral aliens and stuff. And so I focused on that, but there are literally like 3 different mega types of threats out there. This just happens to be the one that we use for these scenarios today. So.
Well, the other thing was too, to not have to spend an hour explaining how it worked, to people, and just get them to see, give them a whiff of the world and the sense that, oh, this can get a lot bigger.
Yeah. Guys, I've got to go and find a tweet for my next game. Thank you for a very entertaining game.
Thank you very
much.
much.
All the best with it.
Hey, thanks so much for coming. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, guys, I actually to close this up, because I need to shut down this one and start the new link up and send it off to the players for the next event. So that way they'll get the link before it starts.
Okay, great. And all these guys should be, you're certainly invited to watch. And, if we have Weezers that don't show up, to play in the next one.
Signed up to play the next one.
What?
Jay, thank you very much. Flint, it was good to see you again. And,
hey, great seeing you. And thanks so much for doing this.
Have a good one, guys.
Okay, bye-bye.
I'm gonna fall out as well. It was great watching the game. It looks really interesting. I'm really excited to see more of it. Flint, by the way, Dad says hi.
Okay, great. Well, yeah, I know. And well, I talked to him just moments ago. I mean, right before all this, we sent him the link. And feel free to come back and try to bring him back into it. I mean, who knows? I mean, there may be underground warfare, that we have to deal with there.
Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha. All right, y'all. Talk to y'all later. Have a good day.
Okay. Bye-bye, folks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys, I will